I've got a real story in store for you today, so let me quickly introduce you to that storyline. I'm going to start off by introducing to you G-Loot and our ambitions. So who are we and what are we trying to achieve? I actually came into the office today just to show you kind of a bit of the background and give you a sense of the company culture. I'm then going to share the problem that I had to deal with when joining G-Loot back in August 2019. I've only been here just over 8 months, but it feels like 3 years because we have been running so fast. I will share with you the future desired state and the actual outcome of what we've achieved to date, which we are calling our G stack. And we believe it is so important and critical to our business. We are currently in a funding round of $150 million. And in every single investor meeting, we have the chance to introduce our potential investors as well as our current investors to our G stack, because we believe through our partnerships with Amplitude, Braze, Segment, Optimize, Leaf, Full Story, we're going to achieve great things. After I've shown you the outcome, the stack itself, give you a little demo, I'm just going to show you some examples of how we've been able to get our teams to become more data-driven and then share with you some of the next things on my agenda. So to kick things off, let's start talking about G-Loot. For those of you who don't know G-Loot, we're a Stockholm-based tech startup. We were actually founded about 6-7 years ago, and we are focused in esports. So this is the idea of playing video games and the ability to enter into these offline tournaments. However, there is a really clear problem out there in the esports world today. And the problem is that it's offline. And that means only the top 600 esports professionals can earn money, and they earn more money than the 2.6 billion players combined out there. So what's crazy is that you have these competitions such, as the international for Dota 2, where you have $35 million being distributed to 90 players. And we feel like this is completely unfair. So our mission at G-Loot is to really take offline online and allow anyone anywhere in the world to be able to earn money playing the games they already love. And this is really important. We don't want to create games, and we don't want to take you away from the games you already love. So what we feel like we're doing is adding an extra layer to your game. We're enhancing the fun across both PC, mobile, and very soon, hopefully, console as well. And just so I bring to life what the experience looks like from a PC standpoint, I asked the team if I could share the latest mock-ups of what's going to be released over the next few weeks, just to give you a flavor of what that user experience looks like, because ultimately, this is the data that we're capturing and acting upon. So here's a very short video, which I will hope works now, and I'll just talk you through the gameplay. So you have to download an application to your PC, and then you are able to see all of the various challenges and leagues for those challenges. Those are the different games that we currently offer. You'll see you have one single wallet that you can use across all games. So when you win in one game, it goes to a centralized wallet. You're able to enter into an actual challenge for a few bucks, and we then start the game that's already on your computer. So you need to have Apex, for example. You play Apex quite a bit, and we get to the very end, and hopefully you're going to win. Of course you are, because it's a demo. And as soon as you win, you'll see that you've won $40 for this challenge. Instantaneously, your wallet is updated, and without leaving the game, you can actually enter into additional challenges and see how you ranked on this league. So the idea is to add an overlay to the experience already and just enhance the fun. So we feel like we're onto something. And because of this, we are raising additional capital to really go global and grow aggressively. And in the words of my CEO, he calls it world domination. He wants to go big, and he wants to go big fast. And you may ask, okay, so why now? We have unique tech. We do not need the game APIs to receive data actually, so we can actually create these challenges without APIs. This is a big limitation in the industry, and we've figured out how to get around it. Together with that, we can see there is huge interest. We've been running a lot of campaigns to see if people want to play their games and actually earn money, and people do. And we have people around the world actually earning all of their money. They're actually having a career by playing the games they love. And finally, we've been able to connect a lot of games. So we feel like now it's the time to scale. Now, if we rewind 8 months roughly and go back to August 2019, this ambition was already there. However, I had to deal with a problem. And that problem was that we had a very basic tech stack in place, and almost no one was making data-driven decisions. There was incomplete data. There was almost no ownership of the tech stack, so things were set up incorrectly. And we were always playing a guessing game. We were never experimenting. We were just changing things on gut and then not even understanding what impact that had on our player base or on the general experience across the platform. To give you a bit of a sense of what the tech stack looked like back in August 2019, this is what it looked like. Very straightforward. We had back-end data flowing through a specifically built pipeline to a BigQuery, and this was great. From a financial perspective, we had everything we needed to do the proper reporting required in a growing company. However, beyond that, we almost had nothing. In terms of the other integrations, PC and mobile, we just had some very simple tools set up, a Google Tag Manager set directly to our PC experience, a Google Analytics to both mobile and PC, and also Smart Look to both mobile and PC. One of the big issues was that actually, because people were doing this haphazardly, by accident, they actually loaded an additional GA through Google Tag Manager, which actually caused an issue in the data we were collecting. And of course, we made use of Facebook ads as well. So that was just to give you a sense of where we came from in August. And before August, I started working with Segment. And Segment really, from a partnership standpoint, my background is B2B software, and I've had a lot of experience working with pre-sales. And you always worry about post-sales. And actually, the team were so fantastic at being that partner. They helped me strategize around building the best tech stack. And they were able to really help me select the additional partners to work with, such as Amplitude, for example, one of the very early individuals I was able to speak with. So where are we today? Well, this is where we want to get to, and we are very close to achieving this with some of our teams. So the future desired state is to really break ourselves up into autonomous teams, creating these super cells who are completely KPI driven, ensuring that we have the right roles in each of these super cells to be able to conduct the activities required to hit those KPIs. So we have product managers, we have engineering managers, we have product analysts, we have lifecycle managers, UX, UI. They're all sitting in these core teams focused on these various products such as GLL, payments, GLoot, and mobile. They're all driven through these clear objectives and key results from a company level. And ultimately, what we're trying to do is really enable insights to be generated and data-driven actions to be made by each of our different team members. So that was the future desired state. We're almost there for some of our teams. And to be able to do this, we've had to build a G stack. And so this is a very simplistic way of looking at our G stack. So on our left-hand side, we have our data sources. And this is our back-end and front-end data, which is being captured by GLoot, as well as third-party data, such as the advertising data or Zendesk tickets. This all flows into a centralized location, which is our brain, and that is Segment. And Segment then ensures quality, and it then, of course, continues to send that data downstream to the various tools that we have put in place. We actually see it as the toolkit for our autonomous teams, enabling them to do advertising, to investigate and conduct analytical activities, to communicate with our end users, to A/B test, and finally to have all of our data in one place. What we're also trying to do is further enrich this data, and I will show that to you in our live demo. One of the other things is we have game data flowing in our systems, but we actually kept that outside of segment. However, we are connecting segment to that in a different way. And I'll show that a little bit later on in our presentation. So let me jump into a quick live demo and introduce you to our segment setup. So what you'll see over here is kind of the centralized brain. It's the helicopter view of our data pipeline. We have sources on the left and destinations on the right. So data is going from here into here, and you can see the connections very clearly. And this is the first thing. It's really connecting data from A to B. So let me show you just very quickly what that looks like. Oh, I jumped into the wrong source. I was just going to show you, here we go, our payments backend. Not going to show you anything sensitive, don't worry. But what I am going to show you is that real-time view. So every single time a fund is locked, it means that somebody has entered into a match and we have locked that fund in a wallet. We get every few seconds, we have quite a number of matches being started across our platform. And what's really important is data quality. So in Segment, you create a clear tracking plan, which one centralized team owns, that being my team, and we ensure that we collect clean data and then send it downstream. So that's the second key part. It's quality. So first it's connection. The second one is quality. The third one is enriching the data to bring to life specific use cases, because ultimately that's what you're collecting data for. It's to further improve our player experience. And I'm going to show you how we do that using a tool called personas. So the personas is a way of being able to actually look at the various users, in this case, myself. And it's the way Segment actually strings together the various identity of these users under one identity to really understand our end user and allows us to further enrich our user traits. So what do I mean by that? Every single time you log into our platform and create a profile, you're creating user traits. So in the case of our GLL platform, you may have a premium subscription, and that's called a subscription tier. And this is a trait for us. But what you can also do is you can create computed traits, and computed traits don't require SQL. It's as simple as point and click, and you can use the behavior data that we've collected through all of the various events flowing into Segment, such as funds locked, or with payments withdrawn, for example, and anyone in the business can very quickly create these computed traits. So for example, I created a computed trait, which was what is the most frequently played game? And in this case, you can see I play PUBG. I'm not very good at PUBG, but I do play PUBG. And then you can go even further. You can connect Segment to a warehouse, and you can query that warehouse using SQL traits. And this is the crown jewels for us. We have a lot of game data across all of the largest IPs in the world: Apex, PUBG, Rainbow Six, Hearthstone Battlegrounds. And we can point Segment at our database and actually compute these traits for different users. So for example, I can actually look at who is the nemesis for me in Apex. So you can see Koku is my nemesis, no idea who they are, but from these additional user traits, we can build out some fantastic interactions with our players in an automated way, leveraging, of course, a tool like Braze. So just wanted to show you the power of having all of your data flowing through one centralized source, ensuring it's easily connected, super high quality, and then enriching that data to build out these use cases. And I don't have much time to show you a lot of the use cases, but what's really important is I'm not designing these use cases. My team is here to support the rest of the organization. It is the autonomous teams who come up with this and actually build it out themselves with the support of our guidance. So that was a very quick demo to show you what it looks like. And if you were to really go a little bit more detailed, this is the bi-directional flow of data that I didn't mention to you, or I kind of hinted to at the beginning, which is where you have backend sources flowing into Segment, as well as third-party data flowing into Segment, and then the data flows downstream into these various tools. But what's also very important is the data flows back up into Segment. So when we run an optimizely experiment, Segment fires an experiment viewed, which can then be seen in amplitude. When Braze sends out a push notification, we are able to receive push sent, push received, push, clicked, or I don't know the nomenclature, but all of that data flows back into segment, back into amplitude, which allows us to further enrich the funnels that we're looking at and really understand what are our players doing and how are they interacting. So really important to think about this and take centralized ownership to ensure the quality. And I just want to show you a really important example that happened to us actually in February as to how, we justified basically this investment, because it's not a small investment. This is a buy versus build situation. And this to me is really what summarizes it. So we have, of course, a funnel that is extremely important. We're bringing users in at the top of this funnel through our marketing campaigns and Facebook and search engine marketing. And we need people to basically sign up. Once they sign up, they also need to download an application and install it on their PC. Now, what we do is we monitor conversion rates between sign up and client download. And we had set up an alarm and amplitude to notify us when there was a sharp drop. And as you can see on the 9th of February, I will remember this date for the rest of my life, we had a substantial drop in conversion metrics. And we freaked out. We really came together and we looked at, okay, what's going on? This is costing us so much money because, of course, we are spending a lot of money in marketing activities. It took some time to really dig in and do the investigations. During this time period, we also implemented Optimizely in an extremely short amount of time, and we decided to run experiments. So what we did was we found out through analysis in amplitude and creating a very clean report that we could share internally, we found out that actually we had removed a clear model, a call to action on our onboarding process. So what the UX and PMs did was they decided to create a number of variations of this model. And they launched it, and very quickly we were able to see a clear winner from a statistical significance standpoint, and we implemented this winner. And as you can see, we have now actually gone higher than what we were before, and we've maintained it over a long period of time. Actually, it continues out into April now as well. So this was just to show you how using this clear tech stack and having one team own it and build it, and then putting the ownership of using this data with these autonomous teams, we're able to really transform the organization into being a lot more data driven. And of course, it's a process. We've started off by going team by team, and the plan is to continue rolling this out across the organization. But I've got a number of other things that we're working on, and we only quite recently implemented Braze, but we're running really fast. So we've got a number of different engagement flows that we're working on. This is just one example of one of those engagement flows. So on the right-hand side, we ran a Friday the 13th challenge campaign. So on Friday the 13th, we sent out a push notification to users that have our application installed to convince them to play a new challenge that we had created, basically get 13 headshots, for example. And so Braze sent out the notification, and then users opted into this challenge, which is that fund locked. And what you'll see is all the data flows into Amplitude. So here is the push notification sent from Braze, and this is the funds locked, and this is the conversion drop-off. So again, leveraging Amplitude, we're then able to retarget those users who've dropped off. So that was the final example I wanted to share with you. And I do hope that this talk was in some way insightful. And again, a really big thank you to the partners out there. I really think that these guys and girls in these organizations are the best of the best. And they really have helped Gloot as an organization grow extremely rapidly. I can't believe we have done this in 8 months. It is something quite remarkable. And I really, really thank them, because that's the only reason why we're doing these activities today.